Yes.
Awesome. Welcome to Reading Festival. Is it your first time playing this, right?
First time, yeah.
So did you get the invite from Mike Davis to do this one? Is it or through the BBC or?
I don't know.
No.
I have no idea, honestly. Let's say Mike.
Mike, fair enough. And what sort of stories have you heard about the festival? 'Cause obviously it's quite the reputation.
Well, we're here with our good friends Paul. He's selling merch for us right now, and then Adam is driving and tour managing us. And then we have a good friend Francis, who's doing sound and front of house for us. And they've all been to this festival several times. And Paul, the way he told us about the festival was he said he did 23 beer bongs in 25 minutes the first year he came here. Like he had two, and he would people would load on. Yeah, he said that he threw up and didn't remember any of it. But so that's how he introed the festival. So I'm pretty excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm not gonna do that, but
no,
I'm gonna try to get Paul to do it again.
Fair enough. That's good plan. Good plan. Obviously, you were over earlier in the year on the brand new tour. I think just talk a bit about that as well.
Sure.
Sort of biggest shows you played overseas, I guess.
Yeah.
How were they? What sort of general reaction did you get as a band?
The reaction-wise was pretty positive. It felt very good. It felt like there was always a couple people at the shows that were if they weren't into it before and we started playing, by the end of it, they'd be smiling and sort of, accepting and having a good time and stuff. And Saves the Day was on that tour too.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting for us to play before Saves the Day and then brand new. And the London show was 3,000 people, and then after the London show we got to do an after show with Saves the Day, and it was
a 2.5 hour set or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. They said that it was like everybody looked at their watches, well, it's 4 o'clock in the morning right now. Maybe we should wrap this up. But the tour was incredible. Reaction-wise, it was very positive, and everybody in the bands and the whole crew were pretty easy to get along with.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So basically, if we go into the band sort of thing, I'd like to talk a little bit sort of about the lyricism within the band. Sort of, it's sort of quite personal. It relates. People relate to it quite a lot. Sort of thing. Where did you get your inspiration? Is it from on tour sort of thing, or is it just general problems that you look at, stuff like that, you write about?
Yeah, kind of both of those things. I get a lot of ideas for lyrics on tour, and then write them down, and then get home and try to figure them out better, organize my thoughts a little bit more. But yeah, it's kind of stories I've heard or things I've been involved with or things like that. Anything can kind of become a song. Maybe I'll write a song about this, a very personal, deep song.
And you sort of get to a point as a band now where bands are sort of emerging that are listing you guys as influences. Is that something you'll ever get used to? I mean, I know bands sort of modern baseball and stuff like that list you as influences.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that is pretty unbelievable for us because it seems like. Yeah, it just how does that sort of happen?
Yeah.
And when me and Matt were making songs, it was there was no way in our minds ever thinking someone's gonna listen to this and maybe get a little inspiration to write a song that maybe sounds a little bit like this or even just an idea. It's a trip. That kind of goes along with the whole thing of even having people come and sing the words and stuff.
Yeah.
All of it is pretty awesome.
And then obviously you've just put out the Rose EP as well. That was sort of fan-picked tracks, wasn't it? Through a Facebook poll.
Yes, yeah.
Are there any sort of songs you guys want to record sort of in future for yourselves, older material?
I think all of the older stuff, I want to give sort of a proper release to. Maybe not re-record, but polish up or I guess re-record would be good. Because I do like those old songs. It took me a while to actually like them, but I did. So eventually.
I was reading an interview recently as well where you mentioned that the Rose EP was part of a possible 4-part series.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing you're planning on doing?
Definitely, yeah. I definitely want to try to have a series of EPs so that we have the opportunity to go back and re-record all those old songs. Whether it be 4-part or 5-part or 6-part or however we end up deciding to do it, it's just sort of a way for us to be okay, we got 2 weeks of time to just hang out. Let's relearn some of these old songs, polish them up, and make it happen.
So is that going to be something maybe you have in place for a new album, or is it something alongside something like that? Or So obviously you already released Talent.
Yeah. It could either really. The next thing that we release will be a new album,
Right.
for sure. Like, and then at some point maybe we'll go back. You know, like it's not going to be. There's no plans at this point, but aside from the fact of one day.
Yeah. And then obviously the Rosen Key was named after, is it Matthews?
Yeah.
I'm obviously a big advocate of using music as like a coping mechanism. How important do you think it is as a coping mechanism?
I think it's the way that like I've definitely learned to cope, like in general, with everything. So it is like the way that I cope, and I know that Matt probably feels the same.
Yeah.
And like the whole process of making the songs, recording the songs, and then playing them live, like that's all part of the coping process with whatever, you know, just a way to deal with things.
Yeah.
And the Grandma series is definitely a reflection of that idea.
Yeah, for sure. And finally then, sort of plans for you guys going into sort of 2015 now?
We're gonna write a new album,
Yeah.
for sure. When we get home, we got some things coming up in November. We're playing with Dr. Dog, which I'm pretty pumped, and Hop Along, which is gonna be amazing. And we're gonna play Riot Fest, and like a couple weekend shows. But when I get home from this tour, my main priority is gonna be writing. We've already started writing a bunch of new stuff, and it's coming together pretty nicely. But I'm gonna focus on that and make sure that it happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Today I train it, where I leave, what will it take?